Eric Wainaina, Afro-pop sensation.
5, 6, 7, 10.
Kenya's Robin Hood. The voice of the voiceless.
We still have our teething problems with our current government. But it's all about the artists finding their voice.
The singer-songwriter is given a lot of titles. With a new album about to hit shelves, Eric Wainaina could potentially also be dubbed Africa's next global music star. He has performed from Boston to Cape Town, Zanzibar to New York, won a closet full of accolades. But his roots are still Kenyan, and he performs in the Kenyan capital every week.
It doesn't matter how much you're playing outside the country. If you're not playing at home for the people who you write the music for, then you've missed the mark. I think that every artist sort of responds to social commissioning, that you're putting words in music to the feelings and thoughts of the populace that you live with. And for me, it's really important that I'm giving my message to the people that it's primarily written for.
Wainaina can always depend on a core group of fans in Kenya, but these concerts are a test, a way to play out with his band, get their rhythms tight, gauge reaction to the new material.
You write in the privacy of your writing room or wherever your ideas come, and there are no guarantees at all. And it's nice to know that an idea you've tried out has worked out.
Blending East African guitar riffs with pop rhythms, melding English lyrics with Kiswahili phrases, taking on heavy subjects with a light touch. Reflecting the new connected character of Africa. He's a born performer, working the crowds with ease, but for Eric Wainaina, a career in music was choice, not destiny. So Eric, tell me, did you always feel you wanted to be a musician growing up?
No, at first I thought I was going to be a doctor. For the longest time, till my parents, that's what I was going to do. And up until my last years of high school, I was studying maths, biology and chemistry. And then just sort of in my last years of high school, I got into an a cappella group, and we were auditioning for a concert at school. And when we sung this song, I just knew that on stage is where I wanted to be. And I think that tends to happen with musicians, that if you're not a child prodigy, that there's this sort of epiphany moment when everything sort of happens.
It all started to happen with an a cappella group called Five Alive. They based themselves on American R&B groups like Boyz II Men and Take 6. They played to packed audiences at churches and parties. They got a different reaction at major record labels who wanted something different, something African.
As we began to sort of travel the world a bit, the question was, look, you guys, if we wanted to see Boyz II Men, we'd pay to see Boyz II Men, you know? What have you guys got to offer us, you guys from Kenya? What do you have, you know?
Did you really grind at it once you really knew this was what your calling was?
What I ground at actually was deciding what my style was going to be. I think once I discovered that I could sing, and there was all this material to sing. So coming into the world and deciding, fine, I'm going to be a musician, suddenly the question is, okay, so what are you going to sound like? What's your niche going to be? What's going to differentiate you from the market?
To find his place, Wainaina studied at the prestigious Berklee College of Music in Boston to hone his considerable talent. It was outside of Africa that he learned of the African greats like Youssou N'Dour, Baba Mal and Oliver Mtukudzi. And with his solo career, he has followed in their musical footsteps. But he hasn't always found it easy to gain a foothold in the Kenyan music scene. You're more likely to hear songs from the LA or New York hip-hop scene in Nairobi's public transport than Afro-pop.
In a sense, in the past, we've had radio stations say that our sound isn't very radio friendly, you know. And I think a lot of artists around the world, depending on what genre they find themselves in, find that being an uphill battle that they're having to fight. I think there's space for all of us in the world's ears, as it were, you know. We can't all be Afro-pop musicians, we can't all be hip-hop musicians, but there's a time and a place for all of us.
Wainaina has built his space by growing his listeners one dynamic live performance at a time, fostering one of the tightest bands in Africa. And drawing a fan base that knows that when it comes to Eric Wainaina's lyrics, he doesn't pull any punches.
Kenyans have to deal with corruption all the time. Why sing about it?
Because that's what I do. You know, as a Kenyan, I was being faced with corruption all the time, having to deal with it. And so I could have written a speech, but I'm a singer, so I wrote a song, you know.